I'm Jeff Altman, the Big Game Hunter. I coach people. A lot of it's career coaching, a lot of it's leadership coaching, but I work one-on-one with people. I work in groups to try and help people perform at a high level. And I thought I would revisit one of those classic interview questions. Where do you see yourself 5 years from now? And to do it in a light that doesn't really reflect the kind of answers that I've offered to people in the past, but to think differently and to think in terms of changing, evolving times where the notion of working in the factory and giving the factory predictable, mundane answer is less real, it's less authentic, it's less desirable. So I want to provide you with a different way of thinking of this. And it comes from the notion of, do you really think you can work at the next organization for the 40 years, 30 years, 20 years of your life and not be concerned about layoffs, not be concerned about, getting stuck there in some way in this modern day factory environment? And I say it that way because even if you're in an information business, it's really factory work these days where you're handling some version of information widget and moving it down the conveyor belt, and you're being moved down a conveyor belt too. So I want to try and help you pull out of the mundane and to approach interviewing a little bit differently. And I want you to understand that some people are not going to respond well to this, but the right people will. And if you're someone who wants to have the safe, predictable, and it's not safe, we know this already, the predictable kind of job, I have other videos that cover that. But for today, I want to offer something for, it can be someone who's younger, someone who's more alive, someone who sees the notion of living in modern times as building a tribe. Think in terms of leadership. Where do you see yourself 5 years from now? I want to work in an organization where I can be groomed into leadership. Now, I want to be clear. To me, leadership is not management. Leadership is not the idea of forcing people to do something that they don't want to do. I want to learn how to hire. I want to learn how to inspire. I want to learn how to drive an organization to be more effective and more successful, not by forcing people to do stuff, but to hire people who've got the internal drive to be a success. So if this is an organization, if yours is a firm where I can learn leadership, I'd be thrilled to come to work for you. If yours is another organization that wants me to be the third cog on the fourth floor in the back and to shut up and do what I'm told for the next 20 years of my life, this isn't the right place for me. You know what it is. Now, I want to be clear. I'm not expecting to lead tomorrow. Like I said, I'm here to learn leadership. And that's really a lot of what I'm driven by is. So I defer to you. Is this a place where I can learn about leadership? Now, I know it's easier when you're younger to say this kind of stuff because you feel like you may have less to lose. But for you older folks, I want to be clear. You know what I'm talking about when I say you're working in an information factory and you're being moved down the conveyor belt until eventually the conveyor belt takes you out to the bin out back where the other garbage is. I think it makes sense to make organizations think of you differently, to think of you as being special and not a cog. Now, like I said, if you see it differently, I've got other stuff on the basics of how to answer this question. But for those of you who want something different, it's great if you start causing firms to think of you differently and to see you differently and want to help you aspire to this kind of role. So I hope you found this helpful. If you did and you're interested in my coaching you, reach out to me through LinkedIn at linkedin.com/IN/the Big Game Hunter. Mention that you saw this video. I just like knowing that I've been helpful. Once we're connected on LinkedIn, you can message me about coaching. If you have a couple of questions and you'd like my advice about them, you can reach out to me in one of two ways. There's an app called Magnify for iOS, Magnifi. That's an iOS only app. It's a video conversation that we can have. The other one is prestoexperts.com. You can log on to the site, call me through it. I'd love to help you. Hope you have a great day. Take care.